Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the Talking Games podcast. I'm your host, Taye, and I'm here with Ken Wall, the usual face. Ken,
Hey,
tell me.
what up? What up, everybody? Good spirits right now. Favorite day of the week.
Sunday. Oh, man, not for me, man.
Nah. Actually, it's not. It's only when we get to talk about games. That's the only reason why. This is the only day that I get to actually talk to somebody. Yo, Ty.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now and see you.
Okay. Can't see me.
Now I can. Now I can. Before it was your profile picture.
Okay. Just the system is taking a piss. But all good. Listen, we're here to talk games. Not so much news this week. I guess maybe that's more of a summer thing, right? I think in the last couple of years we've had crazy news with Xbox acquiring everybody, Sony pushing back, FTC case. 2023 we had an amazing year with multiple video games coming out, such as Baldur's Gate 3,
Acquisition.
Starfield, sorry.
The acquisition as
The
well.
acquisition. There was so much going on this past couple of years. It feels like 2024 has just been it's a quiet year. Everyone's taking it easy a
Yeah.
little bit. But there are some things to talk about, and we'll get right into them. Probably the biggest news so far, to some people, maybe not, is Xbox potentially skipping the Tokyo Game Showcase. So, in a recent article by Game Rant, it states, judging from some recently revealed information, it appears that Xbox could skip one of the major gaming showcases of this year, the Tokyo Game Show 2024. If so, this would be an unprecedented move from Microsoft, considering often the console manufacturer has attended the convention over the last couple of years, in comparison to Sony, who hasn't. However, they've not changed course, as they will be appearing at the Tokyo Game Showcase this year. I guess the question I'll put to you, Ken, now is: first of all, do you think this could be true? Number one, and number two, if it is true, why do you think Xbox has decided to take a step back and not make an appearance? Is it a hi-fi rush situation where they're embarrassed? Is it a situation where they don't have games? And ultimately, do you agree?
So first of all, I'm surprised that they're not showing up to Tokyo Game Fest because, maybe this is showing that they're a new Xbox, but usually Xbox, they were showing up to Tokyo Game Fest because this was the arena that a lot of gamers, their fan base, really wanted them to be in. They like, a lot of gamers like JRPGs, they like a lot of the style of Japanese games, and that was missing with Xbox, and they were doing a good job with that. But is it because they don't have, now before Tango, they didn't have a lot of studios, like that was the only Japanese studio they had, but before they had Wolong to show off, they had like Octopath Traveler coming to Game Pass. Do they have any Japanese style games coming this year?
They have one. They have a few games that you might cross. There's one particular game that kind of seems like a catch-em-all kind of game that's come on Game Pass. I haven't been able to identify the name yet, but there is that game, and that's kind of it.
Okay, so yeah, because of the closing of Tango, the Xbox never really selling that well in Japan. I'm not saying this is what it is, but if we see more moves like this is definitely them just waving that white flag in Japan. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be that crucial for them.
Yeah, I think you're right from an optics point of view. I don't think it's a good look. First of all, I think these are just rumors, and it seems like they will be making an appearance. But in the case that they don't, I would say this would be an optics the bad look. You can make an argument that hey, listen, they closed down Tango. They feel like hey, let's we don't want to show up there because we don't want to, you know, make it's gonna be an embarrassing situation. However, I would push back and say that doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, Sony closed down Japan studio, didn't they? And they still showed up with,
Yeah.
all their games because I think ultimately, I don't think the Japanese people care that much about these situations. I'm not saying they're not upset that you closed down a Japanese studio. They obviously will be, but I don't think they take it to heart in the same way that everyone here did. It's crazy because when Tango closes down, you have everyone screaming and crying and bitching, saying, blah, 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 blah. But then the question is, did you motherfuckers even play the games in the first place? Did you buy the games? Did you just go out on Game Pass? And the answer is you didn't. So it just seems like you're just upset that a game that you didn't play, a studio that you don't care about, got closed down. I don't think the Japanese necessarily have the same kind of mindset. When Sony closed on Japan Studio, they turned around and said, hey, we still have games for you. We have Final Fantasy Rebirth coming, Final Fantasy Remake coming, we have Grand Blue Strategy coming, we have Forspoken coming, we have Rise of Ronin coming, we have all these Japanese games. So it's not like, hey, you close down one studio and then you've screwed the whole Japanese audience. Now for Xbox, it's a little bit different because they don't have many Japanese games.
Yeah,
But it's
they don't
not
have
about,
an audience.
they don't have an audience, It's a very different story. But at the end of the day, you still have to show them that we care and we're making an appearance. Now, you might get asked a question about Tango, but you don't actually have to be there. You just need to show a live stream. And you can get your Japanese reps to actually answer that question for you. And listen, you can point to different things. Say, hey, listen, we're investing in this region. Just because we closed down this studio and we're closing that for specific reasons doesn't mean we're not investing in this region. In fact, if you look at our portfolio across the board, you see that there is investments going in. The first thing you should have done, and for me, and I might make a video on this, it just kind of depends, is first of all, you announce Sea of Thieves. You tell them like, hey guys, Sea of Thieves, this cartoony looking pirate game, it's out and it's out on PlayStation
and Switch, right?
It's gonna be on the Switch. Is that on the Switch already? I don't think so.
Okay.
But probably it's gonna be on the Switch soon. Like we know that much. That was announced. So you tell them like, hey, listen, because remember, it's not about Xbox's goal is not to attack PlayStation, right? Because the Xbox, first of all, the sales wise, I think it's past over 500K, which is more than the Xbox One. So that's already a win there. But I think Phil Spencer mentioned in an interview earlier on last year that the Japanese market has quadrupled and the Xbox and Game Pass has tripled. Now that doesn't mean there's a lot there, but it means it's growing there. So you have a user base there. We're not talking about consoles now, because Xbox brand is not consoles, it's the ecosystem. So PC and xCloud is important. I think Phil also mentioned that I think it was in South Korea that they have more people signing up for xCloud than they do actually buying the consoles. So once you take away that console mind frame, you should be here to show them your game.
Yeah.
And those games, number one is Sea of Thieves. Let them know that, hey, listen, PlayStation fans right now, you could buy it on PlayStation, you can buy it on Xbox, you can buy it on PC. So now you can actually play with your friends. That's one. Number two, you have the marketing rights for Metaphor, a Sega Atlas game. When does Xbox get the rights to a freaking Atlas game? The creators of Persona. You don't. So you should be there advertising this and saying this is on our platform. That's number two. Number three, Neon White is a game that I've seen that's really good on Game Pass. It kind of has that kind of cartoony kind of flair, and I think that might be a game that might appeal to that audience.
Yeah.
Once again, you show that game off on Game Pass. Then the biggest game that came out probably this year so far is Palworld. You tell them this, you can only get this game on Game Pass on Xbox and PC. You don't want to get an Xbox? That's perfectly fine. Get it on PC. You don't have a PC? Well, we have this thing called xCloud, and you show them it on xCloud. You have Japanese gamers playing the game on xCloud, like these motherfuckers on screen who are just whipping out their iPads or whatever and just signing in, just playing this game live. That's what the hell you do. This makes perfect sense to me. So that's Palworld, and then you show them Shattered Space. Now, it might not be a game that they're crazy about. It might not be a game that they're that they're dying about, but it doesn't matter though, because Spider-Man 2 is still a big game and Sony will show that off. God of War is still a big game, Sony will show that off. So you gotta show off Shattered Space.
They showed off Starfield last Tokyo game.
Exactly.
I look it up.
Exactly. You show off these games, and listen, because there is no other Japanese game like Starfield, right? Now you could say that's because people don't want to play those kind of games, but those games don't really exist. So show it off. It's one of your best games. Show them Shadow Space. Show them a new DLC. Sorry, a new trailer for it. Then we move on to Minecraft. Show them how good Minecraft is. I think in the last showcase they showed how Japanese gamers really warmed up to Minecraft and they're creating new things, new builds, and all these extra cool looking items. Do that again. Show the Minecraft community. Remember, it's not about Xbox, it's about that community. Show them that, hey, listen, we're here, we hear you. Play it on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. It's all good. Then you show them Towerborn, which is your 4-player Street of Rage Vikings kind of old school game that everyone can play together. And more importantly, you say, hey, it's Xbox, it's PC, and it's also xCloud, which you guys have really good internet, so you guys can check it out. Here, you know what? Here's free xCloud, for 3 months, just so you guys can check it out and have a great time. Then you show them 33 Expedition, which is the game that everyone is saying, hey, it's made by these French developers, but it has very core JRPG.
You don't even have to show anything new.
Exactly. That game looks very JRPG like. That's a game that they'll warm up to. Then you show them Path of Goddess from Capcom, which looks great. That's a Japanese game. Maybe you don't have the rights to Sekiro. I think you do because Activision Blizzard has those rights, so therefore you have it too as well. And then you maybe tease like, hey, listen, this is coming to Game Pass. Then you show them Diablo 4, you advertise it, you show Octopath Traveler 2's on Game Pass, Octopath Traveler 1's on Game Pass, and you remind them over and over again that you can play this game via xCloud on your mobile phone. You keep doing this, and then you show Avowed. Now, with Avowed, what you can do is you can turn up the contrast, make it a little bit more cartoony looking, more bright, for these guys, because that's what they like. You do that, and voila, and that showcase might not be better than PlayStation. Listen, there's more I could even say, to be honest with you, but that showcase might not be better than PlayStation's. However, it's something, and it's good enough, and then you leave it there. They should be there. And if they're not there, then obviously they've done the opportunity cost and they've realized that's not worth it. What did they say? The juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, but like it's so true because I don't get what they, and that's why I don't get Xbox communication. What were they trying to get out of Japan? Of course, they want numbers, but what were they really trying to get out of Japan, and why are they jumping out? But again, this is a rumor. But why would they want to jump out now? It just doesn't make any sense, especially if they want Game Pass on the Switch one day. We know that what Japanese gamers like. So why are they abandoning ship now, since they were making a little bit of headway? It was progress.
I think excuse me, I think because the industry is kind of pulled back a little bit, everyone's pulling back in some regards, and Xbox is probably looking at some of the, could be some Japanese developers that they were talking to and saying, you know what, the truth is these games don't make that much sense. There's too much of a loss going on here, because at the end of the day, Japanese gamers do not warm up to Xbox. We don't sell many games here, so when we get specific games that your audience likes, it's a huge hit on us financially. It's best for us to kind of focus on maybe the core games that we think, or the core group of gamers we can capture. Some of those gamers would be European gamers, for example, like Starfield, Avowed. All these games make sense for Gamescom because that's where most people are going to be interested in. And maybe Xbox just feels like their portfolio isn't good enough, and they also probably feel like there's a losing battle here, because no matter what they do, Japanese gamers would just not warm up to a Western console maker. These are my reasons that I think why they might be thinking like this.
Didn't they have, you remember the game Jump Force, right?
Yeah, doing the Dragon Ball Z characters and everything.
Yeah. Was that day one on Game Pass? I know it was revealed at the showcase, but I don't know if it was day one on Game Pass.
Don't know about that one. Not too sure.
Let me see, because I remember that was like one of the biggest push that I remember from Xbox when it came to the Japanese. Like they really gave it its own like presentation a little bit before when they revealed it. Let me hold on. Jump Force was it?
Yeah. So
yeah,
and listen,
sorry, you did.
Octopath Traveler 2, you know, it's arrived on Game Pass. Octopath Traveler 1 is on Game Pass as well. Like, this just makes sense. Listen, Flight Simulator as well. In fact, I would have even went further. I would have, you know, tried to find some whoever, maybe some company that's using Flight Simulator, you know, like, hey, you guys want to test out Flight Simulator to train your pilots or whatever it is. Listen, advertising, just do it, and it is what it is. I would have done that.
They're not. I gave up on their communication, bro. Their communication is bad, and it seems like they're getting stretched too thin with everything that's been going on, because their brand, their whole like friendly, jolly Xbox, that's now played out. No one, I don't think their ecosystem's really believing them anymore. And now they're gonna have to show, well, not necessarily show, but they're gonna have to pull more back like Sony and Nintendo. That's what I believe. I don't think they can be as open anymore, because if they decide to speak more about what's been going on, then they have to reveal a strategy of multi-platform. But yet they're being silent about the multi-platform strategy.
Yeah, they need to shut up for sure.
Yeah, like they need to now pull back. And this could be them doing that. The Tokyo Game Show could be them doing that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Ultimately, I disagree. Like, I can see some people might make an argument for, you know, why it makes sense. I think those reasons I listed shows that it doesn't make sense for them to do it. You know, you're gonna increase Gamescom's, you know, showcase, like, you know, how the venues and the things to do there, which is good, because you know, European market is probably more attainable to you. However, because Sony isn't even there, you're not really competing with anybody. Xbox will be the main floor, the main spot. So I think
I think Sony is showing up.
Not at Gamescom, at Tokyo Games
Oh
Fest.
no! Oh, my bad. You're talking about Gamescom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. I
think because you don't have any competition, you might as well just show up. But, you know, we'll see what they do in the end. But anyways, any thoughts on that? Well, we move on to the next topic.
Last thing. I know it's not Xbox related, but what do you think Sony's gonna have at Tokyo Games?
I was actually gonna go into this a little bit at the because I have a title for Hideo Kojima.
Oh, okay, all right. We'll wait.
Yeah, no, but we can talk about it now. I think Kojima has hinted that, you know, he's going to, you know, he's gonna be there, and if he's gonna be there, then I imagine, oh man, you know what? I even just forgot about it. If Kojima is gonna be at the Tokyo's Game Fest, then Kojima can show off, you know, the Xbox game again. What's the game he's working with for Xbox?
I don't think it has does it have a title?
I think it does.
Yeah, it was with the
face.
To
do with drugs or something.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Xbox game. OD, yes.
OD.
To do with drugs. OD, and yeah, that's it. So once again, Xbox has. I'm gonna take that note.
But I think Sony's like, nah, you with us. Sony's with us, so you know what he's gonna review. I think it's Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, Death Stranding 2 is gonna.
Sony's like, nah, you're not revealing that shit.
You know, funny, like, you know, he could do both, because Kojima's in a position where he can probably do whatever the hell he wants. He's you know, he's gone to that level. I mean, Sony's coming to him like, yeah, listen, we're gonna sponsor this Death Stranding 2 bullshit game that you want us to do, but you gotta promise us that you're gonna make a Metal Gear Solid like game for the next for our console. And that's what he confirmed. He confirmed, like, yeah, you know, we're gonna work on Herman Holtz along with Kojima confirmed that we're gonna work on an espionage like game, you know, like you guys expect, because I think that's what Sony wanted when Kojima was like, yeah, I want to make a new game, and I've left Konami. They're thinking like, yes, you know, we're get the creator of Metal Gear Solid to make a, you know, not a sequel, a competitor, and then they get a walking simulator. They're like, what the fuck is this? Like, we gave you millions and you make this shitty game, so they're probably not, you know, on good terms. But then in the end, they managed to convince him to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, I really would like to be a fly on the wall with Sony, because Last of Us Part 2
Yeah.
I'm not saying it didn't sell well, but it should have sold better since it's a sequel. But they're like, all right, we'll let Naughty Dog do their thing. They fail at factions. We'll still let them do their thing. Kojima. Kojima's just doing this thing. Like, we thought there was going to be problems with that, but clearly they know something. They know something, that these games hit the right niche and they satisfy an important customer base. So,
the funny thing is, I don't even think Xbox can really tell Kojima anything either. Like, he's just one of those creators where I think he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Similar to our man's at Rockstar, who's making BioShock again. What's the dude's name?
Ken Levine.
Ken Levine. Like, it's like some people just have power, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing whatever hell I want to do.
Yeah.
You just trust them because it's their work, which makes sense. Like, if Miyazaki tells you right now, like, yeah, I want to make a game and I don't want you to monitor me or, stress me out, you're going to let Miyazaki do it.
Yeah.
His Elden Ring, his Dark Souls, he created a whole new genre. You're going to have that fate, right?
So he's a beast. That guy's a beast to me. Like, I don't know how he does that shit. He's got so many hits that just keep on coming. Like, I don't get it. Out of everybody, he is the most consistent. Like, god damn.
No, actually, before we go on to the next topic, we were having this discussion on this other pod, and one of the guys said, is Miyazaki the greatest of all time? Like, is he the GOAT, or is he just, like, at the moment, like, the best director in making games, or is it none of those things? What would you say?
None of those things. I definitely think in terms of Japan, he's the best. But it's kind of hard because it's like, yo, he does make a specific genre. What do we... Yeah, it's very easy to have that debate, like, who's the best, but we know there's more nuance to it. He makes a specific game, and there still are very many talented developers. But he's not the GOAT because, what's it called? Miyamoto. Yeah, like, he's the GOAT. Like, everything comes from him. So
yeah, one guy was trying to say he's a GOAT, and I was just thinking, how's he the GOAT? Like, you don't make Dark Souls and Elden Ring and you're the GOAT. That's bro. Like we had dudes here like Kojima who made Metal Gear Solid. We had dudes who made Super Mario, Zelda, like the Street Fighter, even like these were iconic games. Just because your young ass doesn't remember.
Like, what about the Housers? The Housers with like
GTA. Like, what are we talking about? GOAT?
Yeah, it's very hard, bro.
I was like, if you want to make an argument that he's the best video game director right now, I mean, you might. There's a very good shout out for that. Maybe the guys at Lyrian Studios might say, "Yo, we did Baldur's Gate 3. What are you talking about?" Maybe Ojuma. He's like, I did Breath of the freaking Wild, bro. What are you? And then I did Tears of the Kingdom. Like, like those games are selling like 50 million copies on one platform. Yeah. And you got Elden Ring on like 5 platforms selling there's just 20. Like, what are you talking about? He to go. I feel like there's gonna be some, back and forth there. And honestly, it's justified. I think there's a huge shout out for Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, and all these other kind of games. But
I like the barbershop talk.
Yeah, back and forth. No gunshots, please. But let's move on to the next topic, which is the one that you highlighted, and that's Horizon's Netflix cancellation. So, in an article by Insider Gaming last week, Rolling Stone reported on toxic behavior perpetrated by Steve Blackman, a showrunner working on the Umbrella Academy. These claims were laid out by no fewer than 12 workers, and the reports made their way to Rolling Stone, which subsequently investigated, uncovering quite the controversy. Blackman, of course, has denied the claims. However, what we did get from this information is that the Horizon Zero Dawn project, Horizon Zero Dawn prequel series, has been cancelled. Do we see a situation where PlayStation is still going to shop around? Do they want the sequel to still happen? Or are you of the opinion that the whole thing is done and PlayStation is going to focus on something else?
I'm hoping they chuck up the deuces with this. But At most, I think they may revamp it into an animated series.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, they have a lot of Horizon prod. Like, it's such like I don't get Horizon, bro. I don't get it because a lot of people. It's twofold. A lot of people are like they're cool with Horizon. No one's really saying Horizon's trash or bad, but it's just cool. Like it's like, all right, yeah. Like I didn't even finish playing Horizon Forbidden West because it just it doesn't scratch that itch. Like the story, the gameplay's cool to me, but it just doesn't do it for me. But the sales, it's killing it. The sales is killing it, which I don't get. And this feels like PlayStation's baby. Truly, like they are pushing this to the forefront. They want Alloy to be the mascot, and I don't know how this is going to end up because it could be like Mario. A lot of people don't remember, but especially me because I was young, I wasn't even born. But Mario was shoved down everyone's throat. Like Nintendo put Mario everywhere before they were this like greedy with Mario. That was not how Mario was before. So they could be using that same strategy with Aloy and trying to get her to pop because clearly they know something that we are not seeing because all I see is actually I don't see a lot of people ranting and raving about Horizon. It's either they're saying Aloy's ugly, she's fat in the face, it's the Ubisoft of PlayStation games, but then it's selling. So I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe a good barometer of this, a good check will be that Lego Horizon game. But to go back to what you were saying, I think they're going to, if they shop it around, I think the idea of it's going to change. I don't think it's going to be the same prequel. You said it was supposed to be a prequel series, right?
It seems like that's what rumors has a prequel series.
Yeah. I think they'll probably change up the form it's going to be. I think maybe it could be live action, or it could be they could change it to a movie, TV, keep it an animated TV show. I don't think it's going to stay the same idea because Steve Blackman was a creative person on that show, so he probably had ideas, and now that that's gone, I think they're probably gonna come up with something new. But they're not gonna give up on it.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they give up on it too as well. You know, despite people not liking it and people hating on it, it's still one of PlayStation's best-selling franchises. 20 million sales.
Someone likes it. Someone likes
20
it.
million sales. You know, I remember I was having a discussion with someone about this, and she was saying how she was telling me how, hey, yo, listen, I feel like there's a lot of sexism towards Horizon, blah blah blah. People don't like the game because she's a woman. And I was like, I don't know how you sell 20 million copies and you're talking about sexism. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like Persona 5 sells 6-7 million copies. Final Fantasy sells 8 million copies or 7,
20 million, bro.
Like Horizon's in a very special category of games that no one else can reach. Alright, that category is filled with Zelda, Mario Kart, God of War, Hogwarts Legacy. Like Horizon is in a very special category.
Yeah.
You're talking about sexism? What are you talking about? Like I don't get it.
Nah.
I was like, people are buying this game, bro. Like you don't listen to the trolls online who hate her. They clearly don't have money, whatever. Like they ain't affecting the sales. But yeah, I think Sony's gonna definitely push this. I think a prequel series will actually be pretty interesting because Horizon does have a good foundation of a story. I think where it falls flat is the main character is a bit of a loser. I don't like Aloy. She's off. There's some things about her I just don't like really. There's things about her that I do like. There's things about her I don't like. I don't think she's a strong character. She's not very compelling. In Horizon Forbidden West, I just found her more irritating than anything else as well. And Horizon Forbidden West story is actually it has a good foundation as well, but the execution is very poor. When I say very poor, I don't want to make it seem like the story is bad. Well, in some parts it's bad. When I say very poor, I just mean there's so much potential here that could have been done better, and it just wasn't executed properly. But that's Horizon. Yeah, I think we all of the opinion that we're gonna see it again. I don't know if Sony's gonna redo with Netflix. They might maybe try to hook up with Paramount. So they might try to hook up with HBO. I wouldn't mind them hooking up with HBO. I think whatever they touch is gold. I think Amazon has a good shout out as well. But I know Sony has been fishing around because with Amazon they have God of War signed a deal already. With HBO they have The Last of Us, and obviously Netflix is supposed to be Horizon. I think with Twisted Metal it's Paramount as well. So we're gonna have to probably choose one of these guys again. But yeah, that's that. Next up is EA FC. So according to reliable Blibli Kun and D Labs, EAFC 25 is set to release on September 27. This game is set to feature a standard and ultimate edition. Those who pre-order the ultimate edition will get 7 days of early access. So I guess, Ken, this is a question that it's more about the industry as a whole. There's been this pushback and fear when people see all these special editions for early access because they feel like the game is supposed to come out on the 30th for whatever, right? But then EA just says, all these companies say, well, we're gonna push it to the 35th for you guys, and all these guys get the early access. And with these type of bundles and deals growing, is the fear justified from gamers when they see stuff like this, that it's only going to get worse? And at some point it's 7 days now, but maybe it's going to be 2 weeks in the future, and everyone's going to be left behind, and everyone's going to be forced to get the early access to actually play with their friends and get an upper hand. Because technically, if you think about it, if you're playing this game EAFC or even COD, a multiplayer games 1 week before everybody else, you've leveled up your skills, you know what you're doing, and then when you meet these noobs, you can just take them down. What are your thoughts?
What you just mentioned are valid points, but hey, man, businesses got to do what they got to do.
If you're a brokey, you're a brokey.
Like,
that's
bro, you get your money up, not your funny up. Because, in my opinion, certain games I like when they do early access. This is the first time I've seen a week though. That's kind of crazy. Like, damn, a week of early access. Because I remember the 2K games would come out of the Friday, so it would come out on Tuesday, but then it would come out the Friday that weekend, and that would only be a few days. But a week in a football game is kind of crazy, because I know the team is a very big aspect. But with that being said, when it comes to businesses, it's always a slippery slope. I know that for video games, I'm a little worried when it always comes to pre-ordering. So Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. If you pre-ordered and got in early access, it was a waste of money because early access didn't work. So if one of these games comes out, like if Football Club 25 is broken the first few days, that early access is gone. You just paid for early access and then you didn't get it. So what I'm saying is it may not be that bad for everyone. Some people are going to benefit, and then sometimes there's going to be a backlash from it, like Suicide Squad. Now, I think EA knows that they couldn't pull something like that, but hey, EA has done some stuff like this because they know what other football game are you going to play? There's nothing else. So I think you can be worried, but this is a train that's already going. I don't think this is going to get worse than a week, though. I don't see it getting more than a week of early access. I think that'd be crazy to get more than a week.
Yeah, I think at some point even they might realize, and who knows, right? They might realize that there's a benefit to having everybody playing the game at the same time. I guess the question is they just have to find the right balance, as to, hey, listen, you guys can play and get some early access, but if you're doing it like 2 weeks, like at that point, like you're probably hurting the game more than anything else. It might not feel new. Sorry, hold on a second. I just need to respond back to this. Yeah, it might not feel new. So I guess that's the problem.
Yeah, because my thing is, it's like from the gamer standpoint, and that's something I never got, is how precious they think pre-ordering is. I never got that, because you know what pre-ordering does. I'm so surprised when people on Reddit are putting up putting up chats where it's like, when is the pre-orders going live? When are the pre-orders going live?
Mm-hmm.
And then I see the pre-orders go live, and it's like months in advance, and then they buy it day one. I'm like, what? Like, why would you do that? That makes no sense to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to pre-ordering games, I wait the week before the game comes out, or when the preload is, or when it goes gold. Then I pre-order it. But I don't know. I guess because when I got older, it's that FOMO, the fear of missing out, it ain't that big to me. It ain't that big.
Sorry, my mic went off again. I just need to switch something to settings.
Hold on. There, it's getting there.
How about now?
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, I got you. I get what you're saying. Okay, I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is Avowed Romance. So in an interview with Windows Central, Obsidian spoke about the game in terms of details, combat. One thing I want to focus on is the talk on romance. So they mentioned, given how much we were investing in our companions as characters who are really tied to their central story, a way that they haven't been in any of our previous games, we wanted to make sure that if we were going to do romance, we were going to really, really, really do it right, or not at all. For Avowed, we decided to focus on other aspects of our companions. So this is confirmation that Avowed will not have any romance. I guess the question now is, do you think it's necessary to do it extremely well and do it right? Or do you think you don't have to get it perfect, but having romance in the game can be a fun segment of the game?
Yeah.
What would you do? You think they were right in not pursuing it?
It's just, it's like open. I know this may be a bad example, but open world games, right? You always have to have a car or a traversal system. You have to have a way to get around. Well, RPGs, I'm always accustomed to having romance. What I'm accustomed to. So I do get disappointed because you're right. I think romance doesn't need to be done all that well. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, when it comes to romance. And I don't know. It's that I guess I don't know. I like it. I always like the romance. Like, I don't think it makes the game necessarily better, but enjoyable 100%. There's just something about getting that virtual character, even though it's like so easy. Like, there's nothing you have to really go out your way to mess it up. You know what I mean? But like, there's just something about it. Like, when you get it, it's like, yo, this is lit. Like, I always go back to CD Projekt Red games. CD Projekt Red, bro. I remember when you get like Pan Am, Judy, you gotta say no. Like, it's right there. It's the oop is right there. But it just feels so rewarding, even though you have to do nothing, bro. You're just going through that side quest, and you just get them. Do they really do?
We collect them Pokemon cards here.
Yeah,
like, get them, catch them all.
Like you like I don't know what it is. Like, even I remember going back to GTA 4. GTA 4, I think her name was Michelle. That was pre-planned. I don't think there was a way of getting out of not getting a girlfriend in GTA 4. but that was enjoyable. That was hella enjoyable. And then all of a sudden you find out she's a Fed. You're like, what the hell? Where did this come from? But like, I feel like that wasn't, again, it wasn't done. There was nothing new about it. There wasn't a dynamic system with getting her. Any video game I've got, like any video game companion that I've gotten with, I don't really think there was some type of nuanced dynamic system where the NPC is reacting to you. So I think it is a little bit of a cop out because you just put it in. It makes the game more enjoyable. But that's just me. How do you feel about romance in games?
I get where the team is coming from. Do it well. However, someone mentioned how they didn't like the romance in Starfield and they felt that they didn't do too well. I would say that I thought the romance in Starfield was actually okay, and it didn't hurt the game, didn't necessarily make the game better, but overall you could say it did help the game in some aspects. I think when you're talking about these situations, experience is always really, really good as well, right? So for example, the team can work on the romance in the game and they'll learn from their mistakes, and when they learn from their mistakes they'll get better, so the next game it'll be a better product in the end. So I think there's something to be said about improving. No one plays, The Witcher 2 didn't just become The Witcher 3, right? It was something that happened over time with experience and development time. So I think it's fine. I don't mind what they're saying. If they did want to, put the resources into something else, that's also fine as well. But yeah, I'm a fan of romance, so I won't say I'm disappointed per se, but it would have been nice to have.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think it just makes it enjoyable. But yeah, like how it's just all about how you do it. Like Baldur's Gate 3 did a very good job with the romance. Anytime it's that cat and mouse game where they tease and then you do a voice line where you push it and then they go like nah. Like remember when Panam puts her leg on you? And then you try and do something, and then she's like, whoa. She's like, nah. She dubs you. I like that. I like when they put in effort like that, where you got to see this through. It's not going to be just there. So I guess that's what they wanted to do. Because again, with the game development, if you're going to put in a system like that, that's going to take months to do. So,
Coffee says Skyrim didn't have romance, and it was great. Avowed doesn't need it. Yeah, I mean that's true. There's a lot of RPGs don't actually have romance. Like if you think about Persona 5's romance, it's quite bare bones to an extent for me as well. Like there isn't really much going on there. But I think what romance does is, even if it's not as detailed, is it allows you to kind of get closer character and just feel like you've achieved something. Maybe even just ticking the box. Coffee, long time no talk. Actually, you should hop on one of these days when we're not about to finish. We got a few more topics left, and one of them is X Defiant. So, speaking on social media, Mark Rubin. Sorry, X Defiant. This is not X Defiant. This is what's the game that just came out? Damn, that everyone's talking about.
Is the First Descendant?
First Descendants. For some reason, I tagged this as X Defiant. Okay. So speaking on social media, Mark Rubin explained X Defiant is built on. Is this X Defiant or? Okay, I guess it is X Defiant. Okay, sorry.
It's X Defiant. It's X Defiant.
Okay. So speaking on social media, Mark Rubin explained that X Defiant is built on an MMO engine, and as such, there have been teething problems as free-to-play shooters has been released to the public. He says even COD started out on id Tech, which was a shooter engine. Apex started on a shooter engine, but for us, we are working on developing all new tech in an engine that was designed for something else. I think looking back now, I would say you could what was the last quote?
The statement is long, yeah.
He says, we're not a shooter that's been out for 20 years. If you like what we are trying to do, stick around and you see things improve and new features get added. But if the game isn't for you, that's okay. You can move on.
That's not.
What do you think of this statement? At least give me your gamer take, your PR take, and your company take.
As a gamer take, that's not that doesn't help us. No matter what, it's like at the end of the day, I get your point of view, but you got to understand my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm trying to play a game right now. I'm enjoying your game, but from my point of view, your game is lacking in a lot of stuff. And there are other games I want to play. And since you're telling me to wait, it's like, wait. Oh, okay, you just made my choice easier as a gamer. And honestly, that kind of pisses me off because, if I spent, let's say I was really enjoying X Defiant, I bought a couple skins, and then I read this. It's like, damn, that's money down the drain. What is this? You telling me these just sound like excuses to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then from a Ubisoft, like top studio, whoever handles the PR, this is terrible. Who let this guy?
Yeah, you don't say shit like that.
You don't say stuff like this is terrible. We built this on an engine that wasn't a shooter, and if you want to stick with it, like what that you don't do that. You don't try and lob it back to the consumer and make them feel almost guilty for you not having the game ready.
I feel like everything he said, with the explanation is perfectly fine. It's when he gets to the whole you can go, that's fine. It's like I respect you. I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of you guys taking shots at me kind of attitude take. I respect that. But from a publisher point of view, that's a bit of a disaster. You don't talk like that because those are sales that you could potentially hurt. Somebody being a bit iffy to you is not worth losing hundreds or maybe even thousands of sales, right? Just because you got into your feelings. That's why you hire people to do the PR team. They'll say they'll look at what you're saying. They'll say that's fine. This part here, just tell them, hey, listen, guys, this is what it is. Thank you for keep playing. Trust us, we're working on things. We're gonna improve things, and we hope you stick around to check out our game. Worst case scenario, you can say, there's many other games you guys can come if you guys are not really happy with the product. Please come back. I check out our next update. Even I wouldn't even say that, but that's the worst you can say. But just to tell them to like, keep it moving, fools. Like I don't. Like stop trolling me. Nah, you don't.
And then it's like the team. It's like you should never, when you have your product, you should never tell people to move on from your product. That's what I don't get. Yeah, I get it. You're trying to be honest. You're trying to let people know what's going on behind the scenes as much as you can. But those are the things that you keep to your chest. You don't 100%. Say everything.
100%. Because even CDP and PR, like, at some point, when they fixed Cyberpunk, one of the PR guys got asked, like, not everything is fixed, everyone's happy now. Did you think it was that bad? And he was like, man, they were all tripping. It wasn't that bad. And everyone flamed him again. And he was like, yeah, I gotta keep my mouth shut. Listen, consumers can be annoying or whatever you want to call it, but they're consumers, it's their money. They're entitled to complain. And if you want to keep getting their money, sometimes you just let them vex, and that's it. Let them vex if they're paying. But yeah, for some reason I thought that was a Descendant quote, not an X Defiant one, because X Defiant is quite old now. I mean, not old enough. It came out this year, but still, they think it was like new news. Next point is GTA. So, as reported by BGC, GTA 5 Story DLC was scrapped because GTA Online was a cash cow. Cinematics editor claims. What happened was that GTA Online came out. It was so much of a cash cow and people were loving it so much that it was hard to make an argument that a standalone DLC would be worthwhile. I think looking back now, I would say that you could have probably done both, but that was a business decision that they made. So yeah, that was that. What do you think about? I mean, I guess we already knew this because Rockstar stopped making games like properly, like a lot of games a long time ago. Do you think this is a growing fear that once companies like even Sony, for example, once they find their cash cow, and that could be, Bungie's new game, that could be, any of these new live service games that's coming up. What's the latest one that they have coming up again?
Concord.
Concord. It could be Concord. Maybe even a game like Helldivers 2. Like Sony might start to reallocate resources into making these kind of games instead of this typical single player adventure game. Do you think these fears are justified? And in the context of GTA, do you see why they did this and why it makes sense?
So I'm gonna go in optimistically thinking. So this is what I realistically expect what happened. So when GTA Online came out, you couldn't hop online for a week. Like the servers were so packed, and this is 2013. We're still transitioning from the 360 to the Xbox One, PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4. And when GTA Online comes out, this is even still before Fortnite, PUBG, all the live service boom. So what I think realistically happened, like what he said, was, again, they had plans for story DLC. They thought it was probably going to be a little bit similar to the previous GTAs, where they can work on the online component and the story component. But they had too many people to satisfy. And they didn't have an infrastructure of how they were going to support GTA Online. And so they were like, yo, GTA Online, when it comes to GTA 5, we got to figure out the online portion first, because this is making a lot of money and we got to keep this going. And then we'll worry about the story stuff later. And they thought it could work out, but I think GTA 5 and GTA Online, they're learning. They went through the growing pains of how to get a live service running, because Rockstar never did live service before this. So they had to figure it out. And I think GTA, the next GTA, will have story DLC, because they know they're still story oriented. I do believe Rockstar is still a story first studio, and they wanted to do story DLC. It's just they didn't have the infrastructure to do both.
Yeah, I always wondered, and obviously it's probably really complicated, but like, is that a situation where they can actually turn around and say, hey, listen, we're going to outsource the DLC to a different studio to do? So in this way, how Bethesda outsourced it to Obsidian to make Fallout New Vegas, it's a possibility. You just hire somebody to oversee it to make sure that DLC is done well. But I guess maybe for them, it's like, well, it's not really about that. It's about resources. So yeah, we could give 10 million to this developer to make an expansion, but we could also put that 10 million into making more microtransactions, which then would then yield 1 billion in profits or whatever it is. So it just really depends. I would say they should have probably do both. I think it's valuable to have these story DLCs because they're important, and I think it kind of gives the game a different type of life. But I think you're right on what you said there. I think I would expect the next GTA game to have DLCs. I think when you listen, GTA is gonna be one of these gaming worlds where you can live in. I feel like the Rockstar's creating something that you can go there, be part of that world, and just not want to leave.
Yeah.
And I think if anybody has a VR headset, and if anybody takes AI, with the whole AI talking thing, talk to random NPCs, you take that headset, you take the AI, and you put it together with GTA, I think you have an experience that you definitely want to visit. And I think all you need to do is see YouTube videos of people, because we've seen it with Skyrim. And if you see these videos of what Rockstar can do, I think it's gonna be a huge push for VR. Similar to the way how everyone says, GTA is gonna sell consoles, PS5s and Xbox Series X and S, because it's next gen. This is everyone's gonna migrate to play this game. I think this is essentially what this could do for kind of VR as well. I think if people see what I can get in action, they'll probably go to purchase it.
And they knew exactly when to co-sign, when to release GTA, because Madden, the sports games is what's making people move on from the console. So Madden, this is the first Madden that's current gen only.
Yeah.
And then what about FIFA? Did FIFA come out with, or it's for the Sports Club? Did that come out with what was that game? What was that release like? The most recent one.
FIFA 24.
Yeah.
EA 24, FC 24. It was good. It sold well.
Did it come out for Xbox One and PlayStation 4?
I would say so. I'll be surprised. I think EA
Okay.
I would say EA is always good at supporting the previous gen consoles as well. I would say
okay. Yeah, because Madden, I know this year is again Madden and college football. There a lot of analysts. Yeah, a lot of them are saying this is gonna make people finally buy a next gen console.
Yeah, which is what all these developers want. You know, so. But yeah, one of the last topics is Zenless Zone Zero's game has Miiverse game has sold 50 million downloads. To put that into perspective, Miiverse or MiHoYo, Genshin Impact has 200 million downloads. Honkai Star Rail has 100 million downloads, and Zenless has 50 million downloads. Essentially, I believe Sony has partnered with them as well, this studio. And I always said, listen, this is a huge win for them because these guys know how to make live service games, and they know how to make live service games that people want to play. People can talk about as much as they want. They're like, oh, you know, it's too microtransaction heavy. These games are not. People played it because they've never felt they've had to spend. However, there are people out there who do love to spend money. These games are very sustainable, and they're doing the numbers. I guess the question is, you know, there's no real question. It's just praise. It's just praise for this game. 50 million downloads. And listen, well done to Sony for, you know, teaming up with them. And I think this is some of the deals that Xbox should have tagged on. And they should have helped. Sorry, they should have maybe made these developers a partner. We know Sony's done this as well with Shift Up, the guys who made Stellar Blade. Yeah, that's pretty much it on this news.
That's what we mean. It seems like the suits at Sony know what goes into a great game. They know the process, but Microsoft, the suits at Microsoft, they don't understand the process of making games, and it shows.
Yeah, apparently Microsoft actually had a chance to get Genshin Impact on their console and support it, and they said no, they didn't think it was going to do well, and look at where we are now. But you know, shout out to Matt Booty for taking CFDs to the next level.
Yeah, Matt Booty, your guy Matt Booty. This guy always getting. Yo, I swear these games better be good, bro. They better be good under Matt Booty.
Yo,
I'm gonna have the chamber locked and loaded for this man.
Avowed coming out soon, we'll see. Oh, man, I feel like I've just been bitten. Okay, I need to go recheck my room now. Anyway, so anyone watching this, Coffee, thanks for showing up. Anyone else watching this, gracias. You guys can find Ken Wall's details to his channel right in the description. And for any other more gaming news and topics, stay tuned for next week's episode. Thank you for watching.
Yes, sir. Peace.